Hello everyone! Norway Chess, the most exciting, the most interesting tournament of the last few years, I would say, has recently finished, and it had a lot of interesting games, really like very interesting, entertaining, blow-minding, and a lot of drama. And the drama we more interested in because after round number 6, where Magnus Carlsen played against Gukesh, current FIDE Chess World Champion, Magnus lost, and in tilt he said that maybe it is his last classical chess tournament. He will not play classical chess maybe in the future because he doesn't understand why he's doing it, he doesn't really enjoy it, and stuff like that. And in this video we will try to analyze this game against Gukesh, and in the end of the video I will tell my opinion. I don't have any like 100% information, but I can give like pretty solid prediction about it, and if you're interested in only it and not interested in the game itself, you can use a timestamp to go there straight away. But let's try to go to the game. This tournament had 6 players: Magnus Carlsen, Fabiano Caruana, Hikaru Nakamura from more or less old school, all like super strong GMs for many years, and new youngsters like Gukesh, who is world champion right now, also Indian young chess player Arjun Erigaisi, and Chinese chess player Wei Yi. All of them are very strong, and the tournament is super powerful. Every player is from top 10 FIDE, which is incredible. They played 2 round-robin circles, so like 10 rounds in total, and in the round number 1, Magnus already played against Gukesh and won him in a pretty magnificent way with white. He played Jabava London, didn't get any advantage in the opening, but like some, I don't know, mess in football, out of nowhere, he outplayed Gukesh, who was dealing with all the threats, and managed to win, which was great performance. And by far, after first half of the tournament, Magnus was on the first place. He won against Gukesh, he won against Erigaisi, another great game. Caruana was a little bit behind, and for Gukesh tournament wasn't going well, because yeah, he won against Hikaru Nakamura, but lost against Caruana, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is a game between Magnus and Gukesh. Let's get started. In this game, Gukesh played e4. Pretty often he chose other options as well, pretty versatile player. And Magnus had psychological advantage because he won the round before. And right here, Berlin. But not very dry Berlin like we got used to. After some castle, knight e4, d4 is this Berlin endgame, which happens pretty often on the top level. But anti-Berlin, Gukesh wants to play for a win, and of course Magnus says challenge accepted. In general, in this tournament there were a lot of interesting games, and the format itself was promoting players to play for a win, because for a win, like in the football, you would get 3 points, when for the loss only 0, and if it's draw you would play Armageddon, where each of you already for sure got 1 point, but winning Armageddon can give you half a point. That's the reason why there were no basically draws, and the tournament was, I mean, very intense. Magnus plays bishop c5, and Gukesh choose c3, which is one of the most popular ways to play nowadays. There is bishop c6 move for ruining the structure, giving up the bishop and relying on the knight power, but Gukesh opts c3 option. Idea is that right now we're threatening to take, and after knight e5 there is no revenge with queen d4 with a double attack, because there is a pawn. I recall the game of Hikaru Nakamura, who played right here against Rajabov in one of the candidate tournament. He played d5, and d5 is one of the main moves, but it leads pretty often to symmetrical position, and for black it's easy to make mistake. However, white has pretty easy pressure, and Nakamura lost this game. Magnus chose more or less Italian setup, and even though it's Ruy Lopez or Spanish, very often the structure will be more or less Ruy Lopez 1, and Magnus won many games like that with black pieces, where he rotates these knights, where he improves. He's like a fish in the water. However, Gukesh, I'm pretty sure not that much experienced, but probably he anticipated something, but already from now on he started taking time. Again, black will probably try to go like this, play c5, fight for the center. White ideally wants to play d4 first, later on develop, get an advantage in the center, has some possibilities for an attack on the king side, and that's how players played basically. Right here, Gukesh played a nice move a4 that forces Magnus to respond with rook b8. Right now, Gukesh instantly grabs the center while the knight is rotating to the king side, and here it was a pretty interesting moment. Gukesh played knight f1, which is pretty logical. We can go knight g3 and continue. But here there was a very important detail which young Indian grandmaster missed. He could have played a5, which looks rather like a liability later on. This pawn can be exploited, because after knight f1, c5 and knight g3, it looks like we always need to defend it. However, compared to what happened in the game, right now this bishop pressuring only center, but he cannot go to any different angle, plus this rook is closed, it's not doing anything, and this bishop doesn't have any additional angles, but only look at the center. And right now white could play bishop e3, maintain the tension in the middle, and keep on improving. Instead, Gukesh plays more pattern way knight f1, which is pretty logical still. Magnus plays c5, and after knight g3, Magnus found not a brilliant idea, but very, very nice continuation. For some of you it might seem dumb, for some of you might seem why is it like so amazing, but Magnus played ba. Idea of ba is that Magnus wants to open up the b file, and try to pressure this pawn. And after bishop a4, bishop b7, it's pretty hard to play for white, because we have some pressure right here. Our bishop's not tied to anything, we can go for different angles, we have more room, we have more space. However, for white, it's not so easy to develop. Let's say moves like bishop e3, not easy to play. d5 is a move that Gukesh actually played, and we're gonna try to discuss it right now. And yeah, going back here, after that, nothing like that would happen, and white's position would be stable, better. Of course, yeah, it wouldn't be a problem to Magnus, who, again, experienced way worse experience in such structures, especially when opponents had some preparation. I remember some games against Fabiano as well. So, they went for this position, and here Gukesh decided to play d5, which basically is digging a grave for yourself. You might say, okay, what's the problem? The bishop attacks the pawn, we defend it, and everything is alright. But there are several layers and some problems. First of all, this bishop on a4 is not amazing anymore. Cool rhyme. The bishop doesn't have anywhere to go. He can get to c6, which would be a good outpost, but this outpost could be good for the knight. The bishop would be rather like a statue right here, and we will see later that would happen. You will see why this bishop is not amazing. So, this bishop a bit off the game. This bishop supposed to be good, because pawns in the center are light square, which gives space for the dark square bishop, but it's pretty hard to find the spot where to go, because if we play bishop e3 and trade the bishop, who is incredible right here, then we have too many pawns on the light squares and dark squares become weak. So this is like choosing lesser evil, and if we don't go there, our opponent eventually can try to create unbearable pressure on the position, and it would be really hard to handle it. So Gukesh kind of forced himself into a situation where he's significantly worse strategically, because his bishops are not playing. Trading this bishop makes the position worse, not trading the bishop also doesn't make the position better. So better was to keep the pawn right here, at least to turn off this bishop. Engine recommends some weird move rook a3, trying to say that after some trade here this rook might be in handy, but position overall equal. But here Gukesh didn't understand the whole danger of the position. Before was pretty cool move trying to stop a5, but it also simplifies the position later on. So d5 was played, Magnus plays a5, very nice move preventing any b4 blocks, preparing potentially and bishop a6, and here and bishop c5 and queen b6. And here choosing between bishop d2, bishop e3 are the options. Right here, as I remember, Engine showed some incredible idea, rook e2, rook c2, trying to take control over open file, which I find pretty amazing, but it's very hard to find. Gukesh goes bishop e3, bishop c8, Magnus continues, he doesn't want to take instantly. And right now, this all goes to the territory of Magnus, because okay, Magnus is basically a universal player, but especially he's good at squeezing the opponent, pressuring the opponent, torturing the opponent. I hope not literally in the real life, but on the chessboard, in the chess terms, of course. Gukesh I mean, don't get offended, but Gukesh, for his level, pretty, like, not amazing at strategy. It's his, like, one of the weakest components, at least I see it this way. He's very good at calculations. He's like a robot, can calculate everything super precisely. He's very good at finding the only move. He's good at survivability. He's good at creating pressure, but positionally, when it goes like a little bit deeper, such experienced players like Magnus, like Hikaru, Fabiano, Vashiela, many others, they beat him in this component, for now at least, and definitely this is the field where Gukesh can get better and become even stronger and like don't have any flaws in his position. And here Magnus will definitely try to play on it and try to like exploit it by his strategical understanding, because Gukesh couldn't get any sharp positions, any pressuring positions right now. All the game is in Magnus' hands, and from now on it's a downhill for a young Indian chess player. He plays b3 because the pawn was hanging, and right now one pawn on the light square and no backup plan for the bishop on a4, who's out of the game right now. Bishop takes e3, rook e3. By the way, this bishop is also really nice because it stops any knight f5 move. Knight f4 comes as promised. Bishop comes to c6. He will sit here for a very long time. Rook b4, preparing later some queen b6 and pressure on b3, and at the same time pressure over here. Queen c2, g6, very neat and precise move to prevent any counterplay, and later on prepare h5, h4. So Magnus is right now like a boxer. He's hitting from a different side, from the left to right hook. He's dancing around Gukesh, and he's like receiving punches from different side, not understanding what to do, where it all comes from. Yeah, sorry for analogy, but it exactly looks like this. Everything will change later on with a knockout, but for now, it is what it is. And Magnus definitely enjoying his position. This is like very nice scenario. And Gukesh right now finds a counterplay. He sees opportunity. There is a weak pawn, but everything is in control. Magnus plays bishop d3, saying, okay, wanna take a pawn, take a pawn. I don't care, because at your rook b3, all these pawns will eventually fall. There are too many weaknesses and there is no counterplay. But Gukesh say, okay, I'm gonna play knight d2 to support both of my weak pawns, and right now your pawn Magnus is hanging. What do you say now, huh? And Magnus says, okay, hello there, h5. And he throws this move, and this move is super powerful, because after it, we undermine the base of this pawn, the knight goes away, and this pawn on e4 is defenseless. And playing h4 at the same time is also pretty bad, because let's say we go knight g4, here comes the mate, and this is it, and Gukesh is basically cooked at this moment. The position is gonna get even worse and worse. Take, h4 played, and Gukesh plays rook a4. You can say, why is he giving up the piece? But he doesn't, and Magnus, I would say more, doesn't take it. Why Magnus doesn't take it? Because after it, two pieces are hanging, so it's basically equal trade. However, this was a possibility for Magnus to win the game, or to get a pretty decisive advantage. Magnus, by the way, is in time lead. He has like 24 minutes against 10. And he could play knight e2 here and create a fork, winning the rook, but it ends up being an exchange. But the position is pretty winning, it's an extra exchange, this pawn would fall, this pawn would be passed, and it's quite easy win. Yeah, there is some counterplay, but Magnus right here kinda not rushing. He says, okay, I'm in advantage, I'm in the lead, everything is fine. He plays king g7 to defend the knight so that this line didn't work. Right now Gukesh plays rook a7, still looking for a counterplay. Magnus spent some time, I guess, yeah, he needed to find some final blow, but he's not rushing with it. And sometimes it can be good when you prepare, deploy all your forces, and then hit where it hurts, where everything is improved. But right here, it's like cooking meat. Magnus right now has some like medium rare, medium, but at some moment he can overcook it to well done or to like roast it absolutely. And yeah, he's waiting too much, he's missing lots of possibilities. For example, right now, he take hg, fg, everything is hanging, but he could play bishop e4. But after taking, massive trade-off, white is up a pawn, but the game is over because this pawn promotes, and remember about this monument standing there out of the game completely, not doing anything, and black wins the game for sure, no way to stop this pawn. Yeah, there were some like pitfalls, and Magnus still plays surely, nicely, knight takes h3, takes, and bishop e4. Right now material is equal, but there are so many weaknesses. It's like, I don't know, mushrooms after raining, more or less. It's like everywhere, the position like one big bruise for white, and it's pretty hard to get rid of this feeling. And right now, still, there was a possibility to pull off the same trick by trading rooks, by making a passed pawn, pretty easy win. Although what Magnus does is still winning enough. He plays rook d1, having threat, maintaining the pressure, saying that my potential like threat right now not ready yet, I will keep on waiting and hit when I am ready. And at this moment, after winning pawn, Magnus is up a pawn, evaluation bar is around -4. I closed this game and I went doing my work, I don't know, maybe like having lesson, maybe something else, because I thought the game is over, and I like time to time reviewed it. But and yeah, I couldn't imagine how it's possible not to win this game, because Magnus definitely would score it. There is no possible way not to win it. If my student didn't win it as black, I would be super disappointed. If I didn't win the game myself, I would be even more disappointed. And for such player as Magnus, it should be like easy work. In the bullet, I'm pretty sure he would win this position quite easily. If he had, instead of 9 minutes, I don't know, had like 30 seconds with some 2 seconds increment, it would be easy win. And here there are wins for different taste. What is important to remember when you up material? You need to prevent counterplay of the opponent, and there are two possibilities. One is to play knight g5, second one is to bring the rook to the 7th rank somehow. And let's say there is a knight c3 move, and for example, after rook c2, knight b5, we can attack the rook, we can prevent another rook coming to c7, and after rook d7, we set up a little trap that after king f6, king e6, this rook is basically trapped, it cannot move. This one way. Magnus plays another way, which is also pretty cool. He plays knight f4, and right now Gukesh has 2 threats. Magnus has plenty of time, and here some inexplicable stuff started happening, because there are 2 threats, and we have the knight who can defend everything in one go. Just play knight e6, and the game is over. You just push your pawns, no counterplay, this pawn is weak, it's time to resign. I would literally consider to resign if I got such position with white pieces, because knight e6 is a torture. You just can keep on playing a few more moves, but you will not succeed. Instead, I don't know, maybe Carlsen thought he's almighty already and no matter what he does he wins. Maybe he was in the mood of walking and he realized that his king trapped in this fortress and all the pieces are walking playing and he needs to do it too. Magnus plays king f6, and right here this is the beginning of the like dramatic turn of events, from the absolutely winning position with no chances for white. Before, Magnus completely like annihilated, just destroyed Gukesh strategically. This was clearly a second win in a row against him. And here things get messy. Gukesh feels like, okay, what are you doing? Like, I mean, I smell like some shark, some blood. I will try to counterattack. And the king goes walking out of nowhere with no particular reason for that. And after rook f2, already position is complicated. Both of the players in the severe time trouble. They have 10 seconds increment, which is not much. And here Magnus needs to solve way more complex tasks than he could have solved before, because for example right now he played f6, which was already inaccuracy, kinda costing him a win, because probably what Gukesh did is absolutely right, because he has knight e4 and he has the possibility of winning the pawn back. Instead, Magnus should have played f5, isolating the knight, cutting it off from the game, and right now none of these checks can really hurt black's king. Pretty weird when he stands on b1 on the side of white, but still. And after f6, I don't know if Magnus realized it or not, but this position is already very close to be a draw. I guess Engine will hold it very, very easily. And that's pretty painful when you outplaying your opponent and one little mistake. It wasn't one inaccuracy, one, but okay, king of 6 was definitely the wrong plan. You already understand that most likely you will not win. Magnus plays rook of 8, which is the best move, rook of 1, king e1, knight e7, and this was the final point. Magnus has 47 seconds, and pawn is hanging. There is an obvious move, rook e8. No brainer, like with hand just done. In the bullet, in the blitz, you would do it for sure. And right now, you can say, okay, he loses the base of the knight, he loses the pawn, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? No, there is knight e2 intermediate check, after king of 3 we win the piece, and after rook e2, king e2, king of 4, we up and exchange, we have a passed pawn, engine says that it's a draw, but for a human being there is no way that black can lose it. However, black can easily win it if white do something wrong. Yes, Gukesh right now found his play, he found a lot of the only moves in the position, and most likely he would make a draw, but there is no way Magnus would lose it. And when you lose the advantage, which was pretty clear, you're mad at yourself, and I'm pretty sure that was going on in the Magnus head, and instead of accepting the fate, saying, okay, it's a draw, calm down, everything is fine, yeah, I didn't win it, if Magnus won this game, I'm pretty sure he would chill the remaining 4 rounds, because the tournament will be absolutely his. He just could play, I don't know, make all the draws, and he would be first, and here he loses everything, because Magnus spent 35 seconds, having 22 seconds on the clock already after increment, and he blunders, and from the winning position he gets losing position, because it's a rook e2, king e2, he starts pushing pawn, he bet everything on his golden horse, like all these betting guys, yeah, and apparently you're scammed, because after knight e4 you cannot play d1 queen because of the check, and the position turns out from winning to be losing, and Magnus lost. And right here you probably saw this video where he hit the table, good that not other chess player, because there are some chess players that after losing games can hit videographers, and we had a video about it, you can check this out in the notification. And yeah, Magnus lost this game, and exactly after this game, Magnus said, I wanna like retire, I don't understand why I hurt myself, why I keep on playing. This was like horrible, I don't want to play classical chess anymore, and I will seriously consider it. He didn't confirm it, but there was such vibe where in Tilt he said that. And I'm gonna give you my opinion, what I think about it, what's my experience. I'm not in France with Magnus, but I'm a chess player, and psychologically I can understand what Magnus feels and predict, in my opinion, pretty precise whether he's serious about it or not. Because before Magnus was winning, and as you can notice, generally when Magnus plays well, he's such a sweetheart. He's like talking nice things, giving nice interviews, behaving nice. But if something goes wrong, he starts tilting. He's like, for example, Niemann case, where he withdrew from the tournament after losing to Niemann. Let's say Jean scandal, when he like started like complaining with all the jeans because rapid tournament didn't go the way he wanted, and many examples like this. When Magnus loses, he hates it, and he starts being like a bit like picky, cocky, like a small child who's crying, who didn't get the thing that he wanted. And this scenario, yeah, excuse me if you don't like comparison, reminds me basically the same. He has a huge ego. He was he's one of the greatest chess players of all time, and we had a video about it as well, so you can check it out. Pretty interesting one where we compared all the world champions. And yeah, Magnus is definitely one of the greatest of all time. He dominated for 15 years. He was world champion for like around 10 years. He won every single possible tournament imaginable, even World Cups that he couldn't conquer for a long time. And of course, he hates losing. Everybody hates losing, but when you're the best, when you're number one, this is like, I don't know, the end of the world for you. And that's what I think would happen to Magnus. And I'm like pretty sure, I would give like at least 80% that he will play classical chess in the future, because he played amazing games in this tournament. First game against Gukesh, this game against Gukesh, game against Erigaisi, second game against Caruana. These are really masterpieces. In his best shape, he didn't play such games. Sometimes so many quality games in a row. And he needs to calm down, he needs to, I don't know, spend some time with the family, do what he loves, and later I think he will come back, maybe stronger, maybe not, but I'm pretty sure he will not give it up, because he's a fighter. He just tilted too much, he wasn't satisfied with the result, and yeah, it hurt his ego. And even though with all of that he still won a tournament, it was pretty dubious, and like Caruana could have easily won it, but other players helped Magnus in it, and he was still number one, but it was pretty shaky. So tell me please in the comments whether you agree with me or not. Do you think Magnus will go back? Did you like the tournament? Because I enjoyed it a lot and I consider it the best tournament. If you disagree, also come up with some other tournaments that you liked. And please like and subscribe to see our other episodes. We trying our best to post as quickly as possible and as many as possible. And see you next episodes. Bye.